Good morning, traders. Matt Weller here, Global Head of Research with FOREX.com. Today is Thursday, the 7th of May, 2026. We have more optimism around the Strait of Hormuz today, and we're looking ahead to tomorrow's highly anticipated non-farm payrolls report out of the U.S. In today's video, I'll break down everything that you need to know ahead of today's U.S. session. Let's get into it. So the latest reporting, in this case from Al Arabia, says that the U.S. and Iran are nearing an agreement for a gradual reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, something that likely won't immediately alleviate some of the concerns in the oil market and the broader concerns for risk assets. Nonetheless, this is continued positive news, and as a result, we see oil prices falling yet again today, building on yesterday's losses. Oil is trading down about 5% ahead of the U.S. Open. U.S. indices are edging just a tick higher, whereas the U.S. dollar is ticking lower, and gold is on the rise as well. We'll continue to watch these headlines, but for now, it's sort of a modest good news is definitely good news for markets type of environment. Separately, we saw the IMF warn the Bank of Japan and the Ministry of Finance against ongoing intervention into the yen currency. Of course, this has become a big theme in recent weeks. Technically, the IMF says if you intervene more than 3 times in a 6-month period, that your currency is no longer classified as free floating and instead would just be a floating currency. Frankly, this probably isn't a big deterrent for Japanese authorities who are more concerned with the health of the economy, but at the margin, it sort of serves as a downgrade, if you will, a credit downgrade, or in this case, a currency downgrade in the eyes of the IMF, and again, could open up Japanese policymakers to more criticism. So keep an eye on that storyline, especially if we see more yen weakness across the board. And then we, just as I started this recording, got the release of the initial jobless claims report that came in at just 200,000, still at historically low levels, better than expected. And that sets the stage for tomorrow's NFP report. Here you can see the expectations for non-farm payrolls. Traders and economists are expecting 65,000 jobs. In my view, there might be upside relative to that number. Of course, we saw a very strong reading last month. Meanwhile, the unemployment rate is expected to hold steady at 4.3%. Wages expected to rise 0.3% month over month. And perhaps most importantly, in all likelihood, none of this is going to impact immediate Federal Reserve policy. Traders are pricing in only a 5% chance that the FOMC cuts interest rates under presumptive new chairman Kevin Warsh's first meeting in June. And frankly, looking out for the rest of the year, markets are very skeptical that we'll see any sort of interest rate cuts, and indeed have even started to consider the possibility of interest rate hikes. A lot will depend on developments out of Iran, but in terms of immediate policy implications, this report is likely to be more indicative of the economy without big impacts on immediate policy. Today's chart of the day is the world's most widely traded currency pair. Here on a 4-hour chart, euro dollar, you can see pulled back into support gradually through late April, but since we've hit May, and indeed even in late April, it started to turn higher. This creates a possible rounded bottom pattern and suggests a gradual transition from selling pressure through mid and late April into more buying pressure as we've entered May. Of course, the key level to watch will be the highest price that we've seen in several months, closer to 118.30. If we can get above there, maybe if we do see a weak U.S. jobs report, or more positivity out of Iran, those are things that could weigh on the dollar and lift euro dollar higher. In that case, we could likely see euro dollar rising toward 119 or 120 in short order as we move through this month. That is today's video. Thank you for carving a couple minutes out of your day to watch. If I can ask just one favor before you go, please do just drop a like on this video. It's a free way to show your support that really helps us with the algorithms. And if you're not already, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel at FOREX.com. Thanks again, and best of luck with your trades today.